The Spirit of the divine is within me, and the power of universal mind I am connected to. Today I witness and feel the energy of love demonstrating in my life, and it is with an open heart and an open mind that I surrender my will to the will of source energy, the will of the source of love, to the soul who hath sent me. And it is from that source, that soul, that I give you my blessing and my love. So it is. So I echo my welcome with Larry's, and I'm glad to see you all here. CUL is a spiritual healing center. And what we offer is relevant spiritual practice of a practical nature. Things that you can use in your life to help you on your spiritual journey, because we recognize that everyone is on their own individual spiritual journey. And we are here to help support your transformation through your self-discovery, through your self-knowledge, to aid you in your search for your connection to source energy. We share the writings of many different spiritual modalities, from the Kabbalah and the Hermetic teachings of the Gnostic writings, as well as the Tao, Buddhism, and other sacred spiritual writings, as well as current findings of the scientific community of quantum physics and psychology. Because many of these recent discoveries are echoing the ancient writings that have been with us for thousands of years, that many of us may just now be coming into an awareness of. I like to say we live in the age of self-mastery now. The age of salvation is over. It wasn't true anyway. We have to save ourselves, and we do that through self-mastery. It's not as easy as going to confession and saying a few Hail Marys and walking out guilt-free. We've got to actually do some work, and that work is self-love, coming to love ourselves. We all have that purpose, the identical purpose, self-love. And then we go on to healing ourselves. And then we go beyond that to healing our ancestors. And then we go beyond that to healing or assisting others who are in their healing work as well. And then that extends to the planet, to healing Mother Earth, doing our part. And we hope that while you're here in our gathering today, you'll have an opportunity to experience the sacred union of mystical oneness. Because if that happens to you today, that will change your life forever. And that one thing is why we came into existence, to provide you an opportunity to gather with people of similar desires, of similar, not paths, but knowing that we're all on our own path. And there's no right or wrong path, there's only the path, the way, the Tao. And we do this through music, meditation, and mantras. So enter these doors with an open mind, an open heart, and empty out all of your preconceived notions, all of your judgments and expectations and conditioning. sit in emptiness and let that emptiness fill with the divine love of Source. Feel the acceptance, feel the connection, and leave with a sense of deep peace and confidence that what you do, what you think, what you say matters. And so it is.
The workshop we're going to do today will introduce you to the chaparral. You'll get to take some home. Even if you can't go on the herb walk with us today, at least you'll have the essence of what we're talking about. It's very important that you combine this with a better diet. We'll go into that too. Your diet, if you're an acidic body, your body is actually decaying. Chaparral will help you become more alkaline, and we'll talk about that too. So if you want to really shift your health around and get back into your indigenous roots, as far as you can go, chaparral is what's here waiting for you. It grows around us. It's an amazing thing to be a part of. So anyway, I hope that you will come. You don't need to be signed up. Just show up.
I am so pleased to be able to offer my home to the sisters again this Friday night. So I'd love to have you all join us. Sisters of all ages. Yeah, I see there's some girls in the audience that are a little bit younger than me. But I wanted just to announce that we are going to be really having fun with nature. Since Earth Day is Monday, the 22nd, I believe, day after Easter. We're going to be celebrating Mama Gaia by planting seeds. And so, see these little toilet paper rolls? I had to grab them out of Larry's hands because he was going to use them for toys for his dog. But cats, sorry. But we're going to plant seeds, so bring some toilet paper rolls, would ya? And we're going to have fun, and we're going to have a little ceremony over it, and it's going to be outside. I have a fire pit and a medicine wheel in my yard. I have an orchard. The grounds are spacious, and I'm just so honored that I'll be able to share that with everybody. Just sisters this time, sorry. So here's the flyer. If you want to sign up, there's a sign-up sheet on the table in the middle, right behind the chairs, okay? So welcome, sisters.
We are pure, divine essence, clothed within these physical forms. This is the truth of who we are. The lie is that we are all the things we believed about ourselves that made us feel unworthy. When we hate those who have harmed us, we feed the darkness and we block the love.
So it's really good to be back home. We usually when I leave somewhere, I'm ready to come home by the time we get to the airport. I don't like being away, but I always enjoy what we do. So this past week we were in Virginia. Hopefully y'all missed us. But last week we were in Virginia at the Southwest Virginia Community College, which hosts a Festival of the Arts each year. And this is a classical music styled festival, so it's very, they have a lot of wonderful, interesting people that show up for this. And Arvo's been there for 3 years. This is my first year. Arvo has been there 3 years. There's a group called the Camerata Virtuosi New York, which is a classical ensemble, string ensemble, and a piano player that have been coming there for like 25 years. But these people are cream of the crop, so they fit right in with Arvo. So we got there last Thursday. We actually got there last Thursday. The weather was absolutely beautiful all week. The trees are green. The whole area was beautiful. Our host families were wonderful. I got to meet all these fabulous musicians that I hadn't met before. I'd only heard of and seen on the internet. But their resume, their curriculum vitae looks like I mean, they're just top of the line people. So we had a wonderful host, we had a wonderful festival director who fed us until I thought we were going to pop. She just likes to show us around the local fair. Now, this is a lady that just broke her femur. Maybe it's us. Maybe we're bad luck. She just broke her femur, so she's hoppling around trying to get us all over the place. So she's a wonderful gal. It was a magical week. And I wouldn't have traded that experience for anything. It actually went really fast for me, which is very unusual. Usually I'm homesick, I'm nauseated because I miss the dogs. I just want to go home and be in my space. It's the first time I've been able to say that and do that, as you all know, in about 14 years. So, because our home, my space before had 6 wheels on it. So this is really nice being in this situation. So on the flight home, I was thinking about all the situation, all the circumstances that got us to this place, that somebody would feel our value, understand our value, know our value, in order to fly us across the country to Virginia, feed us, host us, house us, pay us very well to do this. Especially for something as significant for Arvil as the Titanic CD. That was totally a brilliant CD and a labor of love. And he had told me that this was what we did in Virginia was really what he had planned, what he had visioned all this time for Titanic. Sometimes I think things happen in their own time. We thought it might happen during the centennial, which was 2012, of the Titanic launch and sinking. But it didn't happen that way. So I was just thinking, what gets us to that point? Is it just that we kept that focus all this whole past year? We had been thinking about what we were going to do, how we were going to present it. Arvil and the festival director cooked up this whole thing. It said, well, we want to have video to all of Arvil's song on the CD. So I thought, oh, that's going to be really cool. Oh, and Kimberly's going to do it. So this past year, we took 3 of the Titanic videos, and I chopped them up, and I turned them into videos that suited that particular song. Like Farewell to Ireland is an upbeat, really fast, and so I, clipped all those out. And Over the Airwaves has to do with the telegraph signals that were going on during the time of all the crash. So, and we have one that we're going to show you when Arvil and I play Farewell to Ireland today. But it's really a good show. We also did the narration for each of these songs and situations and events aboard the Titanic. So I had a lot of fun doing that. It was really time-consuming, but I just kept thinking, what is it that keeps your focus on something? And look at the results that we got. It was tremendous. Everyone loved it. It was the right time. It was the right place. It was the right people. We did a great job, and it all worked out perfectly. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today, is how all these similarities, all these things come together to create the perfect storm, the perfect season, the perfect time, our perfect alignment. So I want to talk today about the similarities of science and spirituality, how they work together, the energy that surrounds us all the time, and finally, how to amp up that energy so that you can create what it is that you want. That was the biggest bugaboo area for me, is trying to figure out how do you amp it up, because there's a lot of platitudes involved in manifesting, and fortunately Sue and John have bypassed all that. They've created a wonderful program to get rid of those platitudes, but I just wanted to put it out there to the general populace here, because I've followed the law of attraction for years and years, and with a modicum of success. I mean, in all honesty, I did create Arvil. I did create our 2 Shih Tzus. Well, now we're on like 5 and 6 or 6 and 7. But I've created our living environment with the Shih Tzus because I rescued them. I wanted them. For 2 years I did this before we actually, we have a 2-year cycle going on, I guess. But this 2 years, I just wanted this, and so I thought about it. Arvel said, "Oh, you got to find out more about those dogs before we have them." Well, they don't shed, they don't bark, they're really cute, and they fit right in the motorhome. So we can pack them up really nice. So I followed the law of attraction. I created a lot of really cool things in my life. I created a lot of not so cool things in my life. But one of the things I couldn't really get a hold of is, how do I marry, because I'm a very left brain person, as you know, how do I marry my science, my interest in science and math, and that part of my brain with spirituality? I've had this issue all my life. I resisted religion. I resisted any kind of spirituality because I thought they were the same thing. My whole essence was about science, chemistry, biology, any of the math sciences. I loved it. But I knew that in working the law of attraction from a spiritual level, I knew that something was missing. I just didn't accept things on face or faith. I wanted to know more to find out how it works. So that one piece of the puzzle that was missing, that just cleared it up for me, was quantum physics. I know that's a horrible word for a lot of people, but there it is. I was able to finally understand it. For a while, I even put away the science, I studied a lot, and I thought, okay, I'm going to get really spiritual because now people have told me I'm going to hell and all this stuff. And so then I jumped into the religion fray, and that didn't last long. Anybody that knows me understands why. Because I was really seeing science and spirituality as two separate entities. I was very comfortable with science. It was provable, it was replicatable, and spirituality wasn't. Spirituality is such a unique, individual experience that you just can't say, "Oh, this is spiritual. Oh, this is religion," because everybody has one, as we've learned here at CUL, which is why we created it, so everybody could follow their own path while they're here. So I did the religious thing. I toggled it between the two because I came to understand they were cooperative components. I read books by Wayne Dyer, Getting in the Gap. I specifically read a book by Deepak Chopra. I read a lot about him because I like that science angle that he always puts. And he talks about, Wayne Dyer was getting in the gap, and then Deepak Chopra brought in the element of that space in between all the quarks that looks like there's nothing, but it's not nothing. That is the essence of the God Spirit. That's where our power is, that gap, that space in between the little quarks. It's also known as pure potentiality. And so what that tells us is this pure potentiality is just there waiting for us to direct it. And whether we direct it with positive thoughts or negative thoughts, it's going to say, okay, here we go. So we have a lot of opportunities to change our mind. Fortunately, as Abraham Hicks points out, things don't manifest immediately, instantly, which is good. And I can vouch for that. It would just would not be good if things manifested really instantly. So it takes a while for us to get really focused on what we want, for what we're going to achieve, for what we're going to create in our life. And this is what we want to do. Many spiritual leaders have even understood the potential for this type of thinking, how science and spirituality work together. It's not an either or anymore. And I think that's something that most of us really appreciate. I mean, even people that are not science related, I think they can understand that you have to have both. You can't have one or the other anymore. It's really not. This is a duality planet, but this is not really any more separate than it needs to be. And I like that. I like being able to explain that you're right whichever way you go. You're a science person, that's fine. You're right. You're a spiritual person, you're right. So nobody has to say anything about being right or wrong. So let's take a look at the concepts that quantum physics and spirituality both agree on. First of all, we are all one. No matter what your platform is, no matter what your spiritual path is, we are all one. Whether we came from the stars, a god, the Tao, shells, oil, corn, which are all different facets of some of the spiritual stories about how we were created. So no matter where you think we came from, everybody agrees that we came from one source. Number 2, your thoughts create your reality. That's that little space, that non-empty space in between the little quarks that create the pure potentiality, that we can enter our thoughts and direction of what it is we want. Many Eastern traditions teach that the world is an illusion. The world we see is an illusion, and I agree with that. I'm sure almost everybody here had to have seen The Secret. We need to show that one again, now that I've had a little more understanding about it. But you know, every time when you look at something, it comes right into focus, and then immediately when it's out of your field, it's all blurry, because it's waiting for somebody else to observe it. So that was really exciting for me. Your mind has actually created your reality based on your thoughts and perceptions. And quantum mechanics supports this. The next one is that time is an illusion. If you have ever been so engrossed in a book, so engrossed in a movie, all of a sudden, boom, 3, 4, 5, 10 hours have lapsed. The time didn't go anywhere, but your perception of that time definitely changed. So your perception of time can change based on what it is that you need to accomplish. And I've done this myself. Even driving, I think, oh my God, I'm going to be late. No, I'm not going to be late. Everything is going to flow perfectly to get me there on time. And it does. As long as I keep my focus, as long as I keep my knowing of what the universe can provide for me back, I don't have a problem. Especially if it's something really important. Your actions come back to you, also known as karma. Yeah. Maybe you know it as do unto others, as you would have them do unto you. Whatever you put out in the universe comes back. I think we all know that. In the pagan traditions, what you put out comes back to you 3 times, good or bad. It's called the rede of 3. What you put out comes back to you 3 times. I like to focus on that because it kind of gives me a little more impetus for not putting out bad stuff. I have to remember that. So how do we put these basic principles to practical use and kick our manifesting into high gear? Well, now that is the trick, isn't it? That is the trick. You can take John and Sue's manifesting workshop. That really helps. And to follow up with Arvo's quantum physics, quantum mechanics talks recently, and Dr. Nicole's self-love talks, because she's all about self-love, isn't she? Yeah. Good. Which contains the principles of quantum physics. I just want to kind of follow up on those, and I want to bring those into the conversation because they're very important, and they're all tied into what we're doing here at Center of Universal Light. So my first teacher, her name was Ellie Gaina. She's down in Phoenix. And she was the first one that introduced me to, excuse me, well, you know, you create your own reality. I said, oh no, I wouldn't create this. And she said, oh yeah, you created that. So I said, well, how do I not create this? And she said, well, you can't not create something. You're always creating. And I said, well, okay, how do I create more of what I want? She said, you will never create more of what you want until you learn to love yourself. So she said, I said, well, how do I do that? She said, I want you to go to the mirror. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and tell me, what do you see? What don't you like about yourself? So I said, well, you know, I said, my nose is too big. I said, not looking in the mirror, my feet are too big. And She said, I said, I was told I was stupid and I wouldn't amount to anything. And not my parents. My parents didn't tell me this stuff. These were other people when I was small. And so I said, these are the things I see when I look in the mirror. And honestly, at that point, I would do anything to not look in the mirror. I would pass mirrors. I would only, if I was combing my hair, I would only comb my hair. I would not look in the mirror because I knew that I had a schnoz. Thank you, Mother's beautician in Kearney when I was 12. I wanted to wear my hair like Peggy Lipton of the Mod Squad. Oh, yeah. Parted down there. They were so cute. She was so adorable, and I loved that show, and so that's how I wanted to wear my hair. And she says, oh no, with that nose, you can't wear your hair like that. So these things just sort of seep into your consciousness, and it's not real. Right. So she said, okay, now tell me which of those statements you've just said are yours, and which ones did other people say to you? So I got it. I worked with that for a long time, and I will always be thankful to Ellie for doing that. She's dropped off the face of the earth now, but I will always be so appreciative of her doing that with me. So what I didn't like, what I was creating in my life that I didn't like, I got to understand I was doing this because I didn't love myself. If I loved myself, I would never have had that relationship. I wouldn't have picked that person, come on. If I really loved myself, I wouldn't have taken that job and pimped myself out for something I hated to do. Well, and not pimp, but okay. All right, just And you can't create anything higher and sustainable than your highest point of self-love vibration. So why not work on the inside out? The very first thing we should all work on is our self-love. You can think, positive thinking, blah, blah, blah. Positive thinking is good, but you can't positive think about yourself if you don't love yourself. So, the more I saw the perfection of myself and got rid of some of those old stories that I've been told, because she would sit there and she'd go, what do you think? What about your nose? I don't see what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't see what you're talking about. And I said, well, it's just too big for my face. And she's like, no. So she gave me the mirror. I looked sideways. I'm like, it's okay. So she just sort of walked me through those things and just made me stop instead of get on that automatic roll that we get on with ourselves. It's like, oh, you're so stupid. Why did you do that? Oh, I can't believe you're such a goober. And I still call myself a goober occasionally, but it's only out of, love and appreciation. Sounds good. But I started seeing that perfection of myself, and I wasn't created to be like anybody else. Nobody else. And that is the beauty of our uniqueness. So I can't compare myself to anybody. I can't say, oh, she's got a prettier nose than I do. Oh, I love her hair. But back in the day, I even thought there's something wrong with my brown eyes. I thought I was some kind of lower life form because I would hear people go, oh, he's got the most beautiful blue eyes. Oh, look at her gorgeous green eyes. I never heard anybody go, wow, what beautiful, warm brown eyes. And I'm like, so I looked in the mirror and I'm like, yeah, I've got nice warm brown eyes. These eyes are nice and warm. So it's just step by step I went through that. It was quite the process because it took me a long time to get through everything, which I only noted a few here, so I'm just saying that. But it was all starting to make sense. And the more I could love myself, the more I could love others. And the more, even more importantly, the more others could love me for who I was. Not for what I could do for them, not for what I could be for them, but just because of who I was. And that's all really any of us want. Don't you think? Don't you think that you sort of become, and I think women are the worst at this. And I'm just saying this with all love and appreciation too. Women are the worst in this because there's something flexible and adaptable about women that want to be everything for everybody. You can't do that. As nice as that sounds and as altruistic as that sounds, we tend to want to be that. I got over that too. Thanks, babe. So anyway, it was all starting to make sense. things were definitely looking up, and I was able to create more of those things I wanted. I created a fabulous job in Nashville. I loved my job. Oh my gosh. It was in video production. Oh, I'm seeing a pattern here now. Video production, marketing, technology. It was all the things that I loved. And then they sold the company. But I was okay with that. So, my energy was really flowing. My energy was really flowing. So I think we know now that in fact, what I've just heard recently is that the universe is becoming aware of itself. Isn't that fascinating? It's like you think of the universe as just being this empty, cold space thing out there. But when you consider that in that space is all those thoughts, all that pure potentiality, it has to be becoming aware of itself, because it's allowing you to put pure potential thought, perception, feeling in motion within it. How can it not be aware of itself? That's such a beautiful concept. And it brings to life that universe. It's not just something out there. It's Mother Earth. Mother Earth. She is living, breathing. You can take her, what is it? I think it's 1 hertz. She has a frequency that vibrates off of her, that she vibrates. 1 hertz, I think, is what it is.
8.
Pardon? 8 hertz? 8 hertz. Thank you. But it's a hertz. She's breathing. That frequency is breathing, is making her one of us. She just looks a little differently. So the only thing that creates that, the thing that keeps the universe generating is our thoughts, our perceptions, our ideas, everything we put in there. And as we do that, the universe recreates itself to be what we need it to be. It's always on alert. It's always on call for us. And that is the way that it continues to be aware of itself. So just think about that next time you're outside and looking up at the stars and thinking, gosh, what a vast universe. I love that movie, Contact Arvel. We have to go rent that again. I love it. It would be just such a waste of space if this was all there was. And so I just don't believe there is. Of course, I think the same thing about graveyards, but that's a whole other concept. Anyway, the universe has us to think because it's growing and changing. We all use energy to create, and the energy is what we're talking about in quantum physics. You use that energy to create. You use that energy to be, to live. And we all feel energy. Everyone feels energy. Have you ever walked into a room and you just felt lit up, like, probably when you walked in here? You just felt lit up. Oh my gosh, this is a great place. You were excited, you were enthused, you were inspired. Yeah, I do that every time. Of course, it's empty when I get here, but I talk to the spirits, and so we have this wonderful conversation. And everybody starts coming in, and it just feels so good. There's nothing about this that I don't enjoy 100%. So, and then on the other side, have you ever walked into a room and you're like, ooh, yeah, I'm not sticking around for this. I've done that. I have actually done this, walked right away. I just didn't like that. I don't need to be around it. I don't hang out in low vibration. I don't hang out with low energy. And I don't accept dark energy in my life anymore. Yeah. So we want to learn a little bit more about how to amp up your vibration creation. That's what my talk's about today, really, amping up your vibration creation. How do we do that? Well, we do that with, frankly, you're probably already creating what you want, visualizing, imaging. This is what we do here. We visualize, we imagine, we kind of get it all juiced up and everything, and we're doing all the things we're supposed to be doing, meditating about it. But there is that one more piece of the puzzle. We need to get excited about what we want. You can't just go, oh yeah, I want a new car. Yeah, I want it red. I want a four-wheel drive. Yeah, that'd be good. That's not what you do. When you really want something, this is what creates worlds. The excitement is what creates worlds. So here is our Hertz vibration scale. You'll notice that the lower vibrations, shame, guilt, apathy, are on the bottom. And you notice that the top is enlightenment, peace, joy, and love. So we say things like, we want to create from love and above. Create from love and above. That is the juice that really gets you going. That starts with the self-love. And don't just go, yeah, I love myself. Yes, I love myself. Geez, you know? What's not to love? What's not to love in that face? What's not to love in this face? There's everything is just... So you'll notice, too, that the top is much wider than the bottom. So the higher you go up in frequency, I don't know if it's by design or by accident, but the higher you go up in frequency, the more you can create, the more comes into your funnel to you. So get excited about whatever the hell that is. Get excited about what it is that you want. So we all know that our thoughts and feelings have vibrations to them, and that's what this is saying. And there are like 8,000 actual emotions, and we only use about 8 of them on any given day, or at least we can only identify 8 of them on any given day. So this is quite a good list of it. And I think everybody understands there's a vibration that goes with every thought. There's a vibration that coincides with every feeling. So how do we use vibration to really ramp up manifesting anything? Like a new home. Anybody want a new home? Yeah. Well, I'm going to use that example because that's kind of foremost on my mind right now. So I say I want a new home, but gee, I don't know how I'm going to get one. I don't have enough income. I don't even know if my credit's good enough. What if the VA doesn't approve it? What if I can't even maintain it? Even if I got a new home, how would I maintain it? So now I've just said, I want a new home. And now I've argued for all the reasons I can't have one. So what the heck's the universe supposed to do with that? It's like, I don't know what she wants. So, I know. Well, just imagine what the universe feels like. So the first thing is, don't sink your dream before you even launch it. Let's just say you've broken that nasty habit now. Just get really clear about what you want. We've all gone through this process, right? So I don't need to teach that. Be really clear about what you want and associate into it. And this process works for anything you want. Love, peace, home, new car, a job, anything. So how do you do it? How do you associate into what it is you want? So the home. When you imagine your home, or when you, just anything that you want, go ahead and imagine it. When you imagine your home, when you imagine your thing, is it static or is it moving? Is it a video or is it just a photograph? If it's a photograph, get it moving. Put it right here. Make it moving video. Just imagine it. Now, I'm not very visual, so this has taken me a lot of work to prepare this talk. So just put it out there. It's just right here in the frame, right in front of you. Put a little gilded frame around it, too. So now it's a moving video. Is it in color? Is it black and white? If it's in black and white, turn it into color and really boost those colors up. Make them vibrant and bright. Make them shine, because this thing you want is bright and shiny, or you wouldn't want it. So you've got this bright, shiny video going right in front of you in this frame. And is it close to you or is it far away? If it's far away, bring it closer. Just bring it right here in front of you. It's a moving video of your desire. For me, it's the moving video of my home. It's an Adobe 4-bedroom, 3-bath, beautiful yard. It's got 2-car garage that Arvel hasn't turned into a studio yet. And when I walk through this image, this picture, this video that's moving, when I walk in, I can smell the pot roast in the crock pot. I walk in, I get a wonderful hibiscus tea that Dito's just made. I mean, I can taste it, I can smell it, I can feel it. It's beautifully cool because it's in that adobe brick. So or maybe I get a glass of wine. Is it red or white? I mean, I get really detailed with it. And it's all right here in this video. It's just playing. I'm watching. I'm not even just watching myself. I'm in this. So now you've got all these representations of what it looks like, of what it's going to be like, what it already is in the mind of God. It's already there. Because you've put it in there in the corks. In between the corks. You've put it in there in the gap. You're in the gap. There's no resistance. All you're doing is putting in what it is you want. So now you take your beautiful image, your video, grab it by the edges, by the gilded edges, and just stretch it out this way, make it as big as you can, as big as your arms will go. It's bright. It's yummy. I smell the pot roast. I smell the eggplant cooking, okay? I go in and I have some chips and salsa and avocado, but I can taste it. I can smell it. There's a soundtrack going. Got to admit, it's getting better. It's getting better. Or it could be Frank Sinatra. I did it my way. So I've got this huge framed image video that's just racking up, and I take it, I'm hearing it, I just take it and I take a deep breath and I just exhale and pull it down over me, so that now not only symbolically but visually I have stepped into that picture. It is me, it's mine. I've done it. This is what I've created. You can do this anytime. You can do it with this anytime you want to. It's not just a one-time thing because it's fun. Play with it. Next time, put a barbecue grill in it. Next time, put a pool in the yard. Next time, have the doorbell ring because there's another sound you can associate with it, and have all these friends come in for a party. Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah. Hey, we're here, our welcome home party. I mean, make it yours. It is so fun to do that. So, it's just soak it in. So how did it work for me? I really didn't use this process, but I did use something very similar when I created Arvel. He's really just my image, but I don't know if I told you this, I think I probably did, but I took a yellow legal pad and I wrote 3 pages of this is what I want, because I didn't have a computer back then. This is what I want. I went right down the line and wrote the height, the hair color, whether he was athletic, musical, did he play an instrument, all these things. The only thing that I didn't realize about him at the time, I thought, oh, he's a violin player. He probably doesn't play sports. Well, I was wrong. He does play sports, so I really got it all. But I don't think I could have done that. And actually, this was Ellie, my first teacher, Ellie, that had me do this as well. I said, I don't really want anybody yet. This is just because this is too perfect. There's no way I'm going to find somebody with all these attributes. And she said, just put it down. Don't worry about it. It'll come when you're ready. I was not looking. I was single 10 years. Happily single. Had a few boyfriends, all that. Happily single for 2 years. 10 years. So, I created our life with our Shih Tzus, work I love, the travel. After being in the Air Force, I missed traveling. You know, I hadn't quite gotten it out of my system yet. So I created that lifestyle with Arvel and I traveling all the time, and fortunately got over that. And then we started looking for the healing center. We we just sort of, at the same time, we're like, yeah, we're ready for this. I wasn't quite sure what it was. Arvel says Healing Center. So that's good enough for me. Anything to get me settled down. So over that 2-year period, from the time he sort of verbalized it until we settled down, oh man, I just thought, oh, this is going to be so awesome. I'm going to be able to have a community, a home. Maybe I can have a little garden. I can play tennis again, which turned into pickleball, but that's another story. And I can just do these things with my I can have girlfriends again. And I do. I have a beautiful sister circle. I have a beautiful circle of women friends. I just can't. So anyway, I was thinking of all these things, and I've created you, basically. Okay? Are you okay with that? Yeah. All right, I created you. So this is the type of stuff that is the juice of creation. It's not sitting around twiddling your thumbs going, I wish I had a new car. I wish I had a new job. That is not the way to do it. So I'm asking you, use the cone of vibration to really amp it up. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the 3 things you can do to really get jump started. First thing, get moving. Get that energy flowing. Yeah, you got it. You're already moving with 4 kids. You're already good. But get moving. Don't just sit around. And if you can't, go out, walk your dog, take a bike ride. There's a bike rider right here. He can hook you up. If you're not a physical person like that, go visit a friend. If you're homebound, make phone calls. Uplift somebody that needs you to be uplifting right now, because there's always somebody. There's always somebody that you can be uplifting to. There's just lots of things to do. Bake cookies, take it to your neighbor, somebody you don't know yet. Wendy, have a drumming circle and go meet your neighbors after they call the police. I think it all worked out great, really. I think it worked out wonderful. Just get the energy moving. It's symbolic but very effective. Number 2, laugh. Laughing is very energy moving, and it raises your vibration. You can't help it. You cannot help but feel good. Watch a crazy movie. Go visit one of your nut friends. Yeah, like Larry. Okay, he's back there. Or is that you pointing at me? Okay, well anyway. Watch a funny movie, anything that makes you laugh. Get that vibration higher. And then meditate. Meditate because you want to calm your mind. We want to get rid of that monkey brain. Yeah. That would be me. And I want to thank Joe Melita for sharing that with me yesterday or this morning, I think it was. I said, can I use that as perfect for what I was talking about? See, these things are serendipitous. This is the universe all conspiring to bring us together. I love that. So there's many more ways to do this, to really just ramp up that energy, get it going. But these are the ones you can use today. So then when you've gotten that jump start you need, you can easily and effortlessly begin using the tools based in quantum theory to take half-hearted, half-believable desires and bring them into your reality quicker. Quantum tool number 1, turn up your frequency. Do it with the laughter, do it with meditation, do it with just get moving, exercise. Yeah, exercise. And it doesn't matter. You can sit in your chair and do exercise. Does not matter. In fact, Nam yoga on Mondays, except for tomorrow, is a great way to get energy moving. Yeah. So just get that energy moving. Quantum number 2. Oh, and dance. Yeah. That is a huge one. And just a little plug for this Saturday, that Baraka Moon is like trance dancing. So we're going to take out some of the back rows and just have some trance dancing. It's a group from the Bay Area. Very popular. Didgeridoo, world music. Anyway, I'll be here. Larry's going to be here. Jan's going to be here. So will Arvel. So anyway, dance. That is a great way to do it. Quantum number 2. Set your powerful intention to align with the energy of love or above. To align your energy, you first have to be aware of where you are in relationship to where you want to go, especially on your emotional scale. So if you're feeling crappy, as in depressed or sad or I don't believe it, find a way to start moving yourself up that scale. It might take a day, it might take an hour, but once you're aware of it, you can work with it. It's when that pervasive feeling of, I don't know what's wrong. I told Arvel the other day, I have this overreaching feeling, pervasive feeling of anxiety, which I don't know where that came from. Fortunately, I got rid of that. But I didn't, once I identified it to Arvel, it was gone. That quick it went. So know where you are in relationship to where you want to be. And if you start to feel sad, angry, and annoyed, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just feel it, be with it, honor it. Because the honoring awareness of our feelings is how we can release them with love and then start moving back up the frequency cone. Quantum tool number 3, shift your energy to what you actually desire. This was a bugaboo area for me because most people, which is very sad, and I noticed it with myself when I was taking the manifesting course with Sue and John, is that most people will only set their desires and goals based on what they think they can already achieve. So they helped us to expand that thought. Don't limit yourself. Just expand that. Just whatever it is. Just go for it. What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? And guess what? You might hit it. So that's a big one for me. So stay focused on what it is you truly desire and not what you think you can create anyway. Oh, I can create $100. That's not a problem. But I want to create $1 million? Okay. So I want to stay focused on that kind of stuff. So this is the magic of quantum physics. You put that intention into this space and watch it grow. Pump it up with that energy. Pump it up with that excitement that you know you have inside of you. That is the juice. Quantum tool number 4. Surround yourself with people and energy that elevates you. Look around you. Are you surrounding yourself with people that inspire you, that support you, that lift you up when you need to? Keep them. If you're not, if you're surrounded by people that just drag you down, just drain the life out of you, you need to move on. You need to find new friends, new job, new work, or something. It's not always that easy because sometimes it's your family. I get that. But be aware of it. Surround yourself with white light, anything to kind of deflect that, and know that that's their path. That's not yours. So quantum. Also notice how you're spending your days. We got 24/7. Are you spending your days in front of the TV watching CNN or Fox News, MSNBC? In front of the computer? You want to just be aware of how you're spending your day and where your energy is coming from there. And quantum tool number 5, focus on the mantra, things are always working out for me. Always. It always does. So even if it feels like they're not, even if things seem impossible, the universe will always work that out for you. You just have to be a little patient and never give up. So how many of you will turn up the vibration in the area of love, work, abundance, community, laughter, joy, playfulness? Yes. And when you turn up your vibration, you're not only turning it up for yourself, you're turning it up for your community, for your family, for the universe. The universe is getting our benefit as this living, breathing entity is gaining benefit from our alignment. Can you imagine if the universe is out there going, oh my God, these people are insane. I have no idea what they're doing or what they want. We get into alignment and the universe is like, here you go. Here you go. This is what you want. So when you make a decision to contribute your energy, your passion, your desires to all of humanity, and when you contribute to all of humanity, your family expands, your community expands, the world expands, and yes, the universe does expand and becomes more of itself. So just with the tiniest of effort, become more of you. Vibrate at a higher frequency. Pay attention to the energy around you. You make such profound improvements in your world with people you don't even know, people you do know. So don't ever diminish what you bring to the world. We all benefit when you shine. And when you shine the light on your desires, when you shine the light on your own alignment and your movement up the emotional scale, you are the bringer of that light. You are the source of that light. And you are the center of universal light. Thank you. I'm Kimberly Kelly. Thank you.